Grace and peace, everybody. Grace and peace, grace and peace. How y'all doing tonight? Thank you guys for showing up to the live stream. Let's see who we got joining us right now. We got I'm Chris Duke. He says it's the first live that he's making in a minute. Welcome, brother. Welcome. All right, Lily T says, hi, Alton and everyone. Grace and peace to you, sis. We also have my brother Roger Sherman up in the house, you guys. Roger Sherman, my brother right there, grace and peace. We also got Shape the Korean up in the house. So, yeah, we are getting ready to get into this live stream, you guys. We're going to be talking about politics and our faith. So, should our faith affect our politics and our political candidates? We're going to find that out tonight. This is going to be a live open discussion, so I will be putting a link out there because, I want to get some feedback. And I think the last time I did a live, guys like JT Mack was on. So I want to try to get his opinion as well on this. He said lineup is crispy. Yeah, actually, I just got finished cutting my hair maybe about a couple of hours ago. So yeah, this is the fresh of the fresh right here. All right, so yes, guys, welcome to the live stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. And like I said, yeah, we're going to be talking about where should a person's, or how much should faith play in a person's politics or their political candidates, right? So like I said, hopefully, I'm going to end up putting a link out there. And I want to, want to see if everyone else has to say about that. I know last time I was live, like I was saying, JT Mack was on. So hopefully he'll slide through if he ain't too busy. So, but anyway, you guys know, before we get ready to get into the live stream, we always got to shout out our members. All right, so as always, let me go ahead and take this off because I want to make sure that we can see all of the names. All right, so the first person we got is Jermond, Lyrically Outspoken, Terrence Jones, Roger Sherman, he's up in the chat right now, Ryan Robertson, Leader for Christ, Miss Ephesians 2:10, Dunamis Brockus, Joseph Roberts, Nicole Smith, Latrell Hassel, D. Mav, Ambassador Everett, Anthony Hall, Daryl Lloyd, and Montre Scherer. Let's give it up for them, you guys. Thank you guys for becoming supporters of the channel, and your patronage is always greatly appreciated, you guys. I always appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And yeah, so we're going to get ready to get into this right now. I do got a video that I do want to play, but before I do that, I just want to tell you guys about how my weekend went, especially yesterday, right? So yesterday, well, actually, this was Friday. So on Friday when I got home, I wanted to do something with the wife. It was our anniversary, 11 years. You know what I'm saying? It's 11 years, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to my wife. And I was just looking around on Google. I was like, man, what is something that's local, that's, maybe fun and, just kind of inexpensive, something that we can just kind of just do just here locally, none too extravagant. And I was checking this one place out. Well, actually, it was one event. It was called One Now, right? So, didn't know what this was about. They were saying that it was like this multicultural event. And, I thought it was, something like a festival to where they will have like different foods and products and stuff around, kind of like at a convention center you walk through. Everybody got their own little booths and stuff like that. So that's what I thought that this was. So anyway, my wife and I decided, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to check this out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is saying congrats. Yeah, thank you, Roger, for that. Lily T also says congratulations. Yeah, but thank you guys. And actually, I don't know, man. Let me see if I can pull this up because I forgot to set this in my queue when I was getting ready to make sure I'm not unplugging the wrong thing here. Uh, I may have to unplug this right now just so I can temporarily plug in because I want to show you guys a video of this place because I kind of took some video. But anyway, I come to this place and it's a bunch of these people from like different backgrounds, ethnicities, all worshiping, all praising the Lord. And I mean, I thought that this was just something that was just so cool. So I'm going to see if I can pull this up. I got my phone plugged in, and I want to see if I can pull this up because I thought that this was just so great, man. It was just so great. It was it just felt so good to be around a bunch of body believers, people, who just had just different um, just different walks of life, different backgrounds and stuff like that. So y'all just give me a second while I get ready to pull this up because I want to show you guys the energy that was up in there. And let me see. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Alright, so I'm just waiting for this to load up. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Let me see if I can... Okay, hold up. Ah, here we go. Man, I'm all over the place. Alright, so let me get ready to share my screen. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and pull this up. Pull this up real quick. Stop it. Pull this up. Alright, hold up. Alright. So at this point, it was only about 300 people up in there. Let me share my screen real quick. Yeah, so I didn't know what this was going on, but we just decided to just go and check it out. But when we got there, man, they was playing music and stuff. This is the song that they was playing when we first got in. So yeah, man, I thought that was pretty cool because, here's all of these people with, excuse me, with these different languages, different backgrounds, and all of that stuff. I mean, you had people from Africa. They were singing praise songs in African or whatever the dialect was. We all know African is a continent, not a country, but whatever. There's different people with different dialects and stuff like that. People singing in Portuguese and Spanish, and you had some people on there singing in Hebrew and stuff like that. Man, it was just a great energy, great vibe. Let me see if I can pull up some more pictures. Let me see. Yeah, because I did take a couple of pictures, and this is acting up, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Let me go ahead and take that off. But yeah, it was just such a great vibe, man. It was just such a great vibe in there. Being around a bunch of believers from all different walks of life. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can pull this picture up. I'm gonna pull this picture up real quick. Share my screen, kind of give you guys a. All right, so yeah. So you can see all of these people on stage, man, just different backgrounds, different walks, ethnicities. I mean, it was just such a great vibe, just such a great vibe. And that's why, even when I am talking to people who are part of, especially like the Hebrew Israelite movement and all of that stuff, and they want to try to make it seem like that everything revolves around black folks in America and the transatlantic slave trade and all of that stuff. I'm like, man, listen, it's a whole nother world out there. America is not the center of praise and worship. It's not the center of Christianity. Black people in America are not the center of God's chosen people. You got a bunch of people out there from different walks of life, different backgrounds, ethnicities, different tongues, tribes, and nations, just like the Bible says it's going to be, who all praise the one and only true God. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you can't get me with all of that. Oh, well, we the chosen people and all of this stuff here. All right, we got black atheists in the house. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they be kind of talking greasy, but it's all good. Just messing with you, man. Black atheists, welcome, welcome. All right, so listen, man, we are going to get ready to get into the main topic. I just wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, it was just so edifying. You know what I'm saying? It was just so edifying to see that and to be a part of that, and just how I just stumbled upon that thing. You know what I'm saying? Just stumbled upon that praise and worship service that was going on. So it was just truly, truly a blessing. All right. So listen, you guys go ahead, hit that like button. If you haven't done it already, and subscribe, all of that good jazz. And let's go ahead and get into the main topic, right? So the main topic is, should your faith determine your politics? Now, as we get ready to get into this, I want to bring out the charges that have been brought against people like myself and others who may vote Republican, or people who may call themselves conservative and they're Christians and stuff like that. And we explain the reason why we vote the way that we do, or why we vote certain people in certain political parties because of that, because of where they align with the Bible. And a lot of people like to go to guys like Tucker Carlson, Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, people like that, and they like to say that, well, these people claim to be Christian, so if you vote like they do, or if you have some of the same ideologies that they have, you guys should all be on the same page. And it's just like, no, we're not all on the same page. There's a lot of things that we do differ on when it comes to politics, right? So there's a lot of things that I don't agree with when it comes to guys like Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens and all of that stuff. And I think that this video right here kind of sums everything up, right? So anyway, fair use, fair use. We are getting ready to play this video. And you guys let me know if you hear this or not, because I want to make sure that there's no echo or nothing, and that you guys can hear this.
Should Christians be involved in politics? Of course.
I have no fear whatsoever of being considered political. I am political because the issues in our culture, the political issues in our culture, as you say, touch on issues that are addressed scripturally.
Are conservatives more aligned with Christian teachings and values than the radical left? Of course.
From certainly a biblical standpoint, Christians could not vote Democratic because there's no way that a Christian can affirm the slaughter of babies, homosexual activity, homosexual marriage, or any kind of gross immorality. No way we could, stand behind a candidate who was affirming trans.
All right, so we already starting off with shots fired. Because a lot of people like to say, well, a lot of y'all Christians, y'all like to, once y'all say that Jesus paid it all, the first thing that people like to default to was that y'all like to, y'all affirm homosexuality and transgenderism and abortion and all of that stuff. And we're going to get into the whole abortion thing maybe in a minute. I've already done a series on that for the past 4 Sundays. You guys already know where I stand on that. But these are a lot of false accusations. A lot of false accusations that are brought up against people like myself and others who are Christian. But, let's continue to go on with the video.
Gender behavior.
But at the same time, we need to recognize the important distinction between conservatives and Christians. Though Candace Owens has a questionable view of Roman Catholicism, Owens gets it exactly right when she says this.
what's happened a lot, and there's a deeper conversation that should be had, and I wish we had more time to discuss this, is that we are conflating what it means to be a Republican with what it means to be a Christian, and we shouldn't do that. We should not do that, right? The job of the Republican Party is to bring as many voters into the camp and see what we have in common and what are the things that we agree on and what we're fighting the left on. The job of Christians is to take a stand against things that are against the Bible and against Christianity.
All right, now how many of y'all agree with that? How many of y'all agree with what Candace Owens just said? You know, because a lot of times people will say that, oh, well, you know, a lot of you conservatives or a lot of you Christians or, you know, a lot of y'all people who vote Republican, you guys try to mix the Bible and you try to mix politics, because this is stuff that people like Candace Owens do. And she just totally laid it out of the difference between being a conservative and being a Christian, or being a Republican and being a Christian. So now that you heard this from the horse's mouth, I want to see how many people are going to continue to keep saying that. To keep saying that us who do vote, who may vote Republican. Now, if Democrats get their act together and they start to represent the Bible, or they really start to follow the ways of the Bible in their politics, then I'll start voting Democrat. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's why we have to be fair. We got to be fair when it comes to listening to both sides. Let's not just broad brush people and just say, well, if you vote this type of way, then that automatically means that you have this particular mindset.
Let's take a look at 7 extremely popular conservatives and see where we are allied and where we as Christians should be careful.
And I also want to say this too, because I want to know how many of these people that are on the left, right? I want to know how many of these people who are Christians and they consider themselves Democrat, how many of them are actually willing to do videos like this? How many of them are willing to sit back and do videos about Nancy Pelosi, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Barack Obama? How many of them are actually willing to say, this is where we draw the line as Christians? Hey, I may like Barack Obama's policies on these certain things, but as considering him a Christian, I draw the line. I just want to know. I just want to know. All right, let's get back to it. Fair use. Fair use.
Jordan Peterson is a Canadian clinical psychologist, YouTube personality, author, and professor. Peterson has said many things that Christians would agree with.
Well, it turns out it's not irrelevant. You have to go through the surgical transformation, which is a pretty dramatic answer to a question that for 99% of people who are ambivalent about their gender identity would be best solved without surgical intervention.
Yeah. Jordan Peterson, you've said that men need to, quote, grow the hell up. Tell me why.
Well, because there's nothing uglier than an old infant. There's nothing good about it. People who don't grow up don't find the sort of meaning in their life that sustains them through difficult times.
Very recently, Peterson published a video titled Message to the Christian Churches. In this video, Peterson said some very true things about how the church is neglecting men.
And because of a very real attempt by those possessed by what might be described as unhelpful ideas to weaponize that guilt, our young people face a demoralization that is perhaps unparalleled. This is particularly true of young men, although anything that devastates young men will eventually do the same to young women. And it is precisely those young men who are deeply conscientious, capable of guilt and regret, who have come to believe in pain that every deep impulse that moves them out into the world for the adventure of their life, even that impulse drawing them to women, is nothing but the manifestation of a spirit that is essentially satanic in nature. This is not only wrong theologically, morally, psychologically, practically, and scientifically. It is literally anti-true. Invite the young men back. Say literally to those young men, you are welcome here.
Todd.
All right, he was talking good. He was talking good. But let's continue to hear what he got to say.
Friel of Wretched agreed with much of what Peterson said.
Painfully, Dr. Jordan Peterson's message to the church, mostly spot on. What was the message? We need to do a better job of calling young men up, and it stings because the evangelical church has been calling young people down.
But while Peter
Again, how many of these people on the left are willing to have these conversations and criticize their own? How many people? How many people are willing to call out Reverend Warnock? I mean, come on. Come on now. One thing that I can say about some people on this side, on the conservative side, we will call out other folks. A lot of us on the reform side, which is the which is what I excuse me, which is what I hold to. I hold to the reform faith. We will put a lot of stuff out there. We will say, hey, I may like some of the things that you say, and I may agree with a lot of things that you say. But when you're wrong, and we're going to call it out. Let's continue to hear it.
Peterson has some great insights into how the church is neglecting men. Christians need to recognize that while Peterson often praises Christianity and says Christian-sounding things,
The Bible is true in a very strange way. It's true in that it provides the basis for truth itself. And so it's like a meta-truth.
Peterson does not at all represent Christianity. Peterson's video does not at all mention repentance, faith in Christ, or salvation from sin and hell. His message is essentially a humanistic message, not a gospel message.
Tell those who have never been in a church exactly what to do, how to dress, when to show up, who to contact, and most importantly, what they can do.
In a subsequent video titled Message to Muslims, Peterson treats Islam in pretty much the same way he treats Christianity. He tells Muslims to stop their unnecessary conflicts and to shine the light of their religion.
So your best bet on the spiritual warfare front is to make of yourself and your Muslim practice something so admirable that the light shining from your well-constituted psyches and productive, generous, and wise actions is so intense that people convert to your faith from sheer admiration.
Fair use.
And he calls upon Muslims and Christians to unite as people of the book.
Let's see if we can unite as people of the book and negotiate our way toward the paradise that we might truly and jointly attain.
But
that's beef. That's beef. If anybody has studied the tenets of Islam and they've studied the Bible, what we teach foundationally, the essentials, which a lot of these folks like to downplay and say, oh, well, you know, who made up these terms essentials? Who determines what's essential and what's not? When you look at the essentials of the Christian faith and the Muslim faith, we know that there's beef. And what Jordan Peterson is saying that, hey, Christians and Muslims need to put their differences aside and realize that they're both serving the same God. That's beef. That's beef. And we're going to hear why it's beef.
But of course, Christians and Muslims have contradictory views of the book, and there really can be no spiritual unity or shared paradise between Christians and Muslims because their beliefs are fundamentally different.
Do not be deceived. There's a world of Muslims deceived about the person of Jesus Christ. You cannot accommodate that by saying, isn't it wonderful they love Jesus? They don't. Any other Jesus than the true Jesus is not Jesus.
That's why they hate John Mack. That's why they hate John Mack. Because John Mack just laid it out. But is John MacArthur talking like a devil? Because remember, he's supposed to be a racist. He's supposed to be this racist devil. Is what he said of the devil, or is it true? Because remember, I ain't even going to go there. Let's just go to the next. Let's just go to the next video.
Tim Pool is a YouTuber, political commentator, and podcast host who first became known for live streaming the 2011 Occupy Wall Street protests.
Tim Pool wasn't a TV show host. He didn't have any experience with live streaming. He was a skateboard videographer. But after 21 hours of youth streaming and covering NYPD's removal of Occupy Wall Street protesters from Zuccotti Park, he's become the eye in the crowd.
Poole actually isn't a conservative at all. Like Elon Musk, Poole is a liberal who is basically now categorized as being on the right simply because the Democrat Party has moved so far to the left.
I would say you're pretty much conservative.
What makes me conservative?
What makes you a liberal?
Well, traditional liberals in this country, specifically social liberal, is where I've always been, voted for Obama in 2008.
Poole fights for many things that conservatives and Christians would agree with.
But they restrict certain opinions that normal people have. It's almost like they're engineering the conversation, whether it's intentional or not. Parler gave a space to those other opinions, and they nuked it.
I'm worried about these fringe ideologies that are racist, intolerant, and violent slowly seeping into our culture. Like when you see politicians openly embrace like race-based government policy, it really does worry me.
Poole has even partnered with conservatives at the Daily Wire.
How's it going, man? Good
Going
to see you guys.
on, man?
Thanks for letting me destroy you guys some Mario Kart.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely appreciate Poole's openness to communicate and work with people with varying political beliefs. If you like this video, subscribe to help spread the truth.
Yeah, y'all go and subscribe to Reform Wiki. They have some really good videos. I mean, whoever this guy is, he has some really good videos. So subscribe to him.
Same time, we should remember that Poole is not a Christian and has some fundamentally different beliefs. For example, Poole is unashamedly pro-choice.
So I'm pro-choice.
Well, we could talk about that.
Yeah, I'm pro-progressive tax. I'm pro-Green New Deal.
Tucker Carlson is a television host at Fox News, conservative political commentator, and author. Carlson is a controversial figure who is often accused of being a white supremacist.
But what's caught the attention of white supremacists is the way that Tucker talks about immigration.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Tucker Carlson is a white supremacist. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, I am. But
However, the term white supremacist has been so diluted that now pretty much everyone the left disagrees with now is called a white supremacist.
And you've been labeled racist by folks at Media Matters for this, of course, because they label everyone a racist. I'm a Nazi, according to Media Matters.
Even Ben Shapiro has been labeled as alt-right, despite Shapiro being the primary target of the alt-right.
A bunch of folks on the left seem to think that everybody who is conservative is quote-unquote alt-right. The alt-right actually has an ideology. It is a white supremacist ideology that suggests that Western civilization is predicated not on eternal, immutable principles, but is based solely on race. And Western civilization is just about white people.
Carlson fights for many reasonable things that Christians would agree with.
Well, the legislature in Arkansas recently passed a bill that would ban doctors from prescribing so-called puberty blockers, heavy-duty hormones, to children who believe they're transgender. The law also bans surgeons from physical castration of children. But the governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson, vetoed that bill on Monday. That's what they're defending. That's what they're encouraging. It has nothing to do with civil rights. It's violent. And the criminals you just saw on the screen are not protesters.
Carlson also professes to be a Christian and attends an Episcopalian church. However, when interviewed about this, Carlson said that he Carlson really understood and believed the entirety of God's Word and the gospel of Jesus Christ, that he would attend a church that actually teaches the true gospel. We remain hopeful that Carlson's professed faith is genuine and that he will grow in his understanding of the gospel and what it means to live faithfully
All right, so, all right, do you guys see me now? Do you guys hear me? I don't know what's going on. Hold on, let me see. Let me make sure. Okay. Alright, so. Okay, so I can hear myself now. Man, I don't know what happened. It's like it just cut out. I don't know what happened, man. Alright. I don't see if I got a. I don't see where I got a strike or nothing like that. All right. We're going to try this again. I don't know what happened. That's kind of weird. But for some reason, I don't know if something happened with my internet because I don't know. I don't know if my internet was getting throttled or what, man. But it was like the little Wi-Fi thing from a StreamYard was showing up and stuff was just started going blank. All right. Let's continue with the video.
As a Christian, PragerU, short for Prager University, is a non-profit advocacy group that primarily creates videos on various political, economic, and sociological topics that promote an American conservative viewpoint.
Think better, live better. Visit PragerUkids.com for free kids shows, cartoons, and books that teach classic American values.
I have enjoyed and learned much from PragerU's short animated videos. They are very helpful for understanding a variety of important topics from a viewpoint that generally aligns with biblical Christianity. And even though Dennis Prager is a Jew, he is very supportive of and friendly towards Christians and the Bible.
Dennis is a Jew and I'm a Christian, and boy, I learned more in that book than I did in 10 years in Sunday school.
At the same time, we need to remember that PragerU is not a Christian organization. In response to Dave Rubin announcing that he and his husband would be adopting children.
Yes, we are expanding the family, but, I have a belief that when you do things, you don't just go, you go big. So 2 babies, people, 2 babies are on the way. Those are ultrasounds.
PragerU responded with congratulations, rather than concern, that this is not how God designed the family.
We cannot redefine marriage. And I know what you're saying here, right? You say we can't redefine marriage, but haven't we redefined marriage? No, we haven't redefined marriage. We've blasphemed the God who created marriage, but we haven't redefined it.
Dave Rubin is a conservative political commentator and creator and host of The Rubin Report. I first learned about Rubin from a PragerU video.
Do you believe in freedom of religion? If you believe these things, you're probably not a progressive. You might think you're a progressive. I used to think I was. My show, The Rubin Report, was originally part of the Progressive Young Turks Network.
Rubin is unique in that he is an open, practicing homosexual who has embraced much of conservatism. Rubin is open to having discussions with people who disagree with him about homosexuality, such as the Daily Wire and Jordan Peterson.
And so it seems to me that the minimal stable requirement for ensuring the psychological health and financial viability of a child is something like a nuclear family structure.
Yes.
Minimally, right? So you need a mother and a father.
So we appreciate Rubin's openness to honest communication and dialogue about important issues. And Rubin fights for many things that conservatives and Christians would agree with.
Well, Dave Rubin, host of The Rubin Report, once called himself a progressive and even worked for a progressive news outlet. Now he says he's fed up with the modern left's autocratic tendencies and cannot endorse them anymore.
At the same time, we as Christians should remember that while we appreciate Rubin's willingness to talk to people who disagree with him, we need to continue pointing Rubin towards the truth that God designed marriage to be between a man and a woman.
Therefore, man does not have the right to introduce the concept of same-sex marriage. Number one, because by definition, it's not marriage, it's another thing. And number two, because by definition, it goes against what was created in Genesis chapter 2.
Is that beef? Is that beef, y'all? Right? Because a lot of people, they tell us that guys like Vodi Bakum, he been compromised. He's caping for white folks. Is what he said true? That's all I want to know. Is what Vodi Bakum said true? And is that how we supposed to approach those topics? Yeah, he said Vodi Mad Diesel. Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this. I met Vodi in person a couple of times. The dude is huge. I ain't gonna lie. That dude is huge. He got to be about a good 6'3", 6'4". He's probably like close to 300 arms, and I mean, his biceps is about the size of my thighs. No lie. That dude is huge. When you see him in person, you'll be like, that's a big dude right there. All right, fair use.
Brandon Tatum is a conservative political commentator, former police officer, and former football player. I also first learned about Tatum from a PragerU video.
Even if it were true, all those claims about white privilege, so what?
I appreciated how articulate Tatum was in defending positions that conservatives and Christians would agree with. Tatum is fearless and articulate in defending conservative values, which is important in a culture that tries to silence black voices like his.
One of their mission statements was to destroy the nuclear family. It was on their website. They removed it. The defunding of police. Can I finish the point? No.
Tatum is interesting because he professes, defends, and talks about Christianity very openly.
But when I think about who I used to be and I think about where I've been, even when times get tough, how incredible is God to save me and rescue me and change me?
However, the problem is that Tatum denies the essential doctrine of the Trinity.
I'm gonna tell you this: how you wake up to the Trinitarian falsehood. This is how you wake up to it. Only use words that are in the Bible. Just only use words that are in the Bible.
So while we agree with much of what Tatum says, we need to recognize the unfortunate reality that Tatum's view of the Trinity puts him outside of the Christian orthodoxy.
All right, what y'all thought about that? What did y'all think about that? Man. Yeah, Brandon Tatum is a guy that I just never I never really was feeling Brandon Tatum. You know what I'm saying? Even when I kind of went on my little conservative spiel or whatever, when I was kind of supporting a lot of those people, I would listen to him and I was just like, it's something off about this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, he's, especially when he did that whole thing talking about the Trinity and all of that, that was just, that was the final straw for me. I was just like, I couldn't rock with him at all. But yeah, he definitely does not accept the Trinity. And there's been pastors who've actually had this man come and speak in front of their church. You know what I'm saying? That's been beef. It's been beef for a minute. So I got the link out there. I don't know if you guys seen it, but anybody who wants to hop on, give their 2 cents about what's going on. And anybody who wants to hop on, let me see. She says, wait, did your camera angle just change? Alton Johnson said, She says, okay, we see you, bro. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I can switch it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I got some stuff in my back pocket, I've been working on. So, yeah, I also got my little sound board going. You know what I'm saying? So, I try to step it up a little bit. I got my brother Shafe. He is up in the building. What is going on, brother Shafe?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Bless.
Good, yeah. Well, as far as Brandon Tatum, I'm kind of like you. I've never really got into him. I mean, I've watched videos with him, and I just always was like, I mean, I agree with some of his things, but something about him just don't click with me. So I don't know if that is the same way for you, but something about him just don't click with me. But as far as politics, because getting to the subject at hand, as far as politics, I definitely think you can't broad brush people for the way they vote, but I definitely think you can look at what the platforms offer as a whole, and then you take and you match it to what the Bible says about. So whatever worldview, if you're gonna vote, you got to take a biblical worldview into your voting. I mean, but as far as like with me, I kind of struggle. I don't really vote. I haven't voted this last time because but I consider myself, and I'm a conservative, but I'm like more on the libertarian side, and I'm actually finding that being a libertarian isn't that compatible with the Bible, in a lot of ways, in more ways than one. And so I'm kind of struggling politically, like where do I fit in? It definitely ain't Democrat, and I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. I'll probably never, as long as I live.
You know, that's beef. That's beef right there. Some people, they're gonna be like, safe.
Hey, listen, man, I've been called coon, raccoon. I've been called all kinds. Uncle Tom is one I get a lot. All kinds of stuff for that, but it is what it is. I'll never, vote Democrat, more than likely. Let me put it like that. But I kind of always had this attitude that like, oh yeah, hey, I see Marines in the building. I got a Red Bull just in case y'all doing back. But
y'all need to stay off them Red Bulls, man.
I know. But no, so like, with my political views not aligning with the Bible, that is something I am struggling with, because I had this libertarian worldview of like, I got mine and you got yours. Don't bother mine. I won't bother yours. And at face value, that sounds good. But then you start looking at, you're not really being, you don't love your neighbor as much with some of those attitudes. And so, but as far as the conservative, I think hands down, without a doubt, if you have a great biblical understanding, you just automatically, you lean more conservative. It is what it is. I just can't see how someone can justify the majority of the Democratic Party from the Bible. I don't see it. Unless I'm wrong. I'm young. Somebody got to show me something. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Talking good, y'all. He talking good. You know what I'm saying?
I'm loving the sound. I like the Mario that you had earlier. That had me dying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got to pop that up on there because, man, some of these folks will be talking crazy. But, yeah, man, just like you say, when it comes to, politics, we have to vote. And, I mean, we don't really have someone we don't really have political candidates who are strictly following the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So, we got to be real. But at the same time, we can't just go diving off the deep end because grandma and them and, husband or your wife or whoever always voted Democrat. Mom and them always voted Democrat. So we just going to go ahead and just vote Democrat down the ballot. It's just like, you have to see what these folks are saying. And to be honest, a lot of your inner city neighborhoods are ran by Democrats. I shouldn't have said that.
But you're not lying. You're not lying. And yeah, I mean, I think that the media, I think that they've done such a good job at demonizing conservatism, as it's the whole party is old white men, old supremacists, just out of touch, just not hip, not cool, just they don't care about you, they control you, and they want to control women's bodies, et cetera, et cetera. I think that I think they've done a really good job of making you feel like you have to vote this way because you don't want to be an enemy of the people almost.
Yeah, and there's a lot of problems that I do see on both sides, you know what I'm saying? Just like you said, even with conservatives, or Republicans, you know what I'm saying, and Democrats, it's issues on both sides. But, again, when it comes to, when I'm getting ready to cast my ballot, I'm definitely not casting it for the person who says that women should be able to go and, especially, old white men, let's just be honest, a bunch of old white men, a bunch of old white people saying that they believe that black women should still have the right to go and abort their babies. And they're giving them a reason saying that you guys are too poor and you guys are not as smart, and black people are people who are at the bottom of the poverty rate. They make up for X amount of numbers of people that's being in poverty and, uneducated and all of that stuff. And they're pushing that in order to say that this is why abortion should be legal. And I'm like, that's one of the most racist things you can say. Imagine if Donald Trump came out and said that. If he said that, hey, I think that abortion should be legal because about 55% of black people don't graduate high school, and a lot of black people are not educated, and they don't really have jobs holding high positions in companies. So therefore, I think that that's why abortion should take place. Oh man, please, we will never stop hearing. We wouldn't hear the end of it. Just like we can't stop hearing about the whole January 6th thing. Oh man, I don't even want to get into that.
Man, that's all they bring up. That's whoo, that we're gonna be hearing about that for the rest of our lives, man. Like that's all they bring up, man.
So I want to know, Shafe, what did January 6th do to the black community? Did the black community change at all with the whole January 6th thing? Because we hear that a lot from a lot of folks. Every time they come on, January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. I want to know, what did January 6th do to affect the black community?
All right, I'm going to tell you what. January 6th, hold on. I'm about to break down. Hold on. I got up. I saw what was going on TV. I got dressed, looked at my phone, and then I went to work and came home and made dinner and watched about the rest of it on TV. That was it. Same with my friends. Same with my friends. Life moved on.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I'm just like, for people to keep bringing that up, I just want to know, like, how did that affect the black community? Now, of course, okay, you know what I'm saying? It was a stain on the United States. I mean, but it really didn't affect the United States as a whole. You know what I'm saying? I think that majority of the lawmakers and the senators and stuff wasn't even there. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, I don't support it. And actually, you had a lot of people, a lot of Republicans who basically said that this was just something stupid. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. Even Tucker Carlson and people on Fox News was just like, yo, this was dumb. Y'all, they shouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, some of us as black folks, we got to keep bringing that up. January 6th, January 6th. I don't know. But, I think that the thing is that you have people that just want to have something to say. They just want to be able to argue against someone, and they just want to be able to have an argument. Because a lot of folks on the left, just like I brought out with the past four Sundays, of how a lot of these folks in the Democratic Party, what we call the left, are supporting abortion. I mean, they want abortion all the way up to the date of birth. Some people even talking about having it after the baby has been born. You know what I'm saying? Even when we got the numbers in 2018, the numbers in 2018 said that there were more black babies aborted than born in the state of New York, but we hollering Black Lives Matter. We hollering Black Lives Matter, but nobody wants to talk about a whole voter base. I think the estimated of 20 million blacks have been aborted since Roe v. Wade. 20 million. That's 20 million black people that could have been born alone. And then people wonder how come the Hispanic numbers have surpassed us. And then Joe Biden himself, he said on the panel with some black folks, and I think I'm going to try to pull that video up. He said that if black people want to make some moves in this country, they need to start looking towards the Hispanics. Wrong sound. That's what Joe Biden said. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. Y'all give me a...
Yes, I I didn't hear that. I didn't hear him say that, but I don't really watch him anyway. When it comes to Biden, I used to watch, some of the State of the Unions and stuff like that. But trying to say, and I'm not. This is no shot at him as a person, but his speaking style just doesn't hold my attention. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. Cause y'all know I be giving some of that white bottle. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Berean. Hold on, let me see. All right. We'll try to see if I can pull this up. Oh, hold on. Hold up. I think we got it. Hold on, let me go ahead and share this screen real quick. Oh, hold on. All right. And I'm going to try to see exactly where it is.
I want to start by thanking.
I'm going to try to see exactly where it is. Because I know it's a little bit in.
We can understand what is.
Hold on, let me see. I think it's towards the end. Let me see.
What used to, Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during the debates when you'd have some of the people, Voting Rights Act, what we have to do to restore it.
We all did.
That 3 or 4 out of apocalypse, these 4 horsemen of apocalypse. I said he's the only city in American history helps me now. John, my COVID team. Nobody's ever done this before. We're automatic voting rights, black farmers to be able to own that I was told could not possibly
forward. And we want to move.
Oh, here you go, right here.
Anyone to think that we could put around to many of us that 2 white guys can get a waiver, but McDonald's killed legislation and the policy
from your nominees. We have an opportunity here. And we want to make sure we seize upon this opportunity.
Listen good.
And allowing for the input necessary. 10 more appointments to go. A lot of people in our community are getting a little anxious because they are not seeing enough of the progress they thought they would have seen at this point. Let's not disappoint them, and let's not get to a place where voters in Georgia begin to second guess.
Okay, let me respond. I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it.
Now this is a white man. This is a white man talking to a bunch of black folk. But y'all want to talk about Donald Trump. What'd you say, Shafe?
I was like, but Donald Trump, he had mean tweets.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump was the racist, but if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. Oh, but he ain't done yet.
That's why I'm so light.
Fair use. Y'all gotta listen to this. Oh, and by the way, this is maybe about a week after he got elected.
I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else, no progressive, was talking about it. I did. My son Bo used to have an expression. He'd say, remember, Dad, home base. It ain't worth the job if I can't say what I believe. I didn't want to run this time. I ran this time because of the racist son of a gun who was president of the United States of America. That's why I ran. And you remember, a lot of you told me talking about the soul of America was going over people's heads. They didn't know what we're talking about. The words of a president matter. What a president says matters. And you've never seen me shy away. In the middle of the debate, I called him a racist. In the middle of the debate with him, I took on white supremacists. I'm the guy that took on every single time somebody was threatened in this country. The only white boy you know who did it, period, out there, every single time. So look, all I'm saying here is, guys and ladies, we're on the same exact page, We talked about closing the racial wealth gap. That's the single biggest thing I want to get done. It's the ultimate equalizer, no matter what else happens, because I plan on spending over $15 billion to provide for opportunity for young Black entrepreneurs to get them off the ground, Black farmers to be able to own their own property, young people being able to get their first $15,000 down payment on a home.
By the way, he shot a lot of that stuff down. So yeah, he did follow up on that, and he cut a lot of that stuff out of the bill. But we gonna continue to listen. He ain't got to the good part yet.
Making sure that they have an opportunity to gain wealth. We can do all the rest of this unless the Black community is able to make up the wealth gap, in my humble opinion, is real trouble. I support same-day registration. I'm the guy that extended the Voting Rights Act for 25 years as a United States Senator. Before, Sherilyn, you were even involved. I got it. I started off, I'm much older than you. That's why I got involved in politics. The assault on the Black vote and voting rights across the nation has never been more ugly than it is today. You got to go all the way back to the original Jim Crow to get where this guy is. If in case you haven't looked, we have the largest voting right. Kristen, my operation, 1,000 lawyers, bigger than you or anybody else out there on voting rights. 1,000 in this campaign. Not a joke. 1,000. So I want you to know, I understand this. I know, look at the 38 cases that have been brought against my being president of the United States. All about phony
fair use,
action.
Fair use.
And so I think there should be same-day registration, automatic voting rights. I've been pushing, and I got a number of people that contribute significantly to the effort down in Florida to make sure that federal prisoners who serve prisoners.
Yeah, you see that, Sister Lewis, boy, he talking with a battery in his back. I'm talking about, listen to the tone. I mean, he just like, I've been doing this longer than you've been around, pointing at a Black woman. I don't know. But that's not racism. That ain't racism. I'm trying, he gonna get to the part where he gonna say that if the Black community needs to do better, then basically we need to lock arms with the Hispanic community. But hold on a second, he gonna get there.
Who serve their time have every single right restored to them. That's been my position before it was anybody else's position. I've been out pushing that. In addition to that, I think it's really important that no one goes to prison for a drug offense. Nobody. They go into rehabilitation. Rehabilitation. That's what we should be building, rehabilitation centers, not more prisons. I have a $20 billion effort that I'm proposing to get states to change their sentencing guidelines so that there is no more mandatory sentences across the board. In addition to that, we're talking about having diversity hiring in every agency. I promise you that is going to happen. We're just getting started here. Police reform, judicial reform. Look, you know, when I was, if you notice, when I was chairman of the Judiciary Committee and when I was advising the president, who did we get on the court? We got on a woman who worked for me, became a member of the Supreme Court. Another woman who was a leading Hispanic in America, no one paid attention to, is on the court. All the people that I pushed on the court have been really pro-civil rights judges across the board. And I, like you, the idea, Kristen, that everybody has to be a prosecutor. I'm a public defender. When I'm president of the United States of America, we're going to see to it that public defenders, federal defenders, get paid the same as federal prosecutors. So we can attract people. There's a whole range of things I guess I'm trying to say here. Look, the whole idea of equity is built into everything we've done. For example, I laid out my COVID team. Nobody's ever done this before. We're going to have Marcela Nunez Smith, but yeah, she is going to have one job. We have an equity task force. Her entire job is to deal with the inequity that exists because of racial discrimination. And Ms. Campbell, that's what this is all about. making sure that, you may remember, I'm the first person, black or white, who called attention to the fact that you were finding that there was the rate of people who were African Americans who are dying was 3 times that of white people. That's because a friend of mine, a white guy who happens to be, as you well know, Derek, the mayor of the city of Detroit, called me to tell me about it. I insisted that we keep a record on everything that happened since then. Guys, guess what I'm saying, guys, is, you know, I mean what I say. The hard part here is I'm going to have a lot of trouble. We're going to have a lot of trouble getting a lot of this done with this Congress. And so the question is, for example, you know, I'm going to be appointing at least, and I'm, you know, look, the reason I'm not telling you who the other black maybe cabinet positions I'm going to appoint are is because it'll get out. And guess what? I can't defend them. They're going to be out there by themselves without any defense before they're named. They're going to get ripped to shreds. That's why I'm going to wait. You will be pleased, I believe. You will be pleased to see there'll be more African Americans in major positions within a cabinet in major spots and more Hispanics in major spots than ever in American history. That's going to happen. I promise you that. And the other thing is, for example, thus far, you know, for example, when we went ahead and we made sure that, you know, I have as, the Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, but at number 2 is Wally Adeyemo, an African American, who is the number 2 guy with real authority at that department. Look underneath just what we're doing in addition to the people we've already named. You're going to see people, look, and, you know, Cecilia Rouse, Cece, she is a significant player. That's a serious position. But it's like when I named her, well, I don't know if that counts. I'm not so sure. Well, if it doesn't count for y'all, well, the hell with y'all. But because it's real, it's real. So all I'm saying is look at us, judge us based on what we do. You're going to see more coming your way. And not only that, within the White House as well. Cedric is the best. Cedric's been with me from the beginning. And Cedric is going to be overseeing a great deal of this, and not all his responsibility, but he's in every single meeting. He's an assistant to the president. He's in every single meeting in the White House, period. And so what we're going to be doing here is making sure that we have diverse hiring, not only and for the main cabinet position and the sub-cabinet positions, but down the line. It's going to make a big difference, and within the White House as well. Assistant to the president, there's only 6 of those slots. It matters. And by the way, I think you're going to see, I always kid Kamala by say this, but we're going to have more women than men, as it's looking like now. Okay, that's good, because I'm surrounded by women smarter than me, starting off with my wife and my sister. But all kidding aside, this is going to be fully across the board. I'm going to keep the commitment that I said. And here's the thing, and Al, Reverend Al, I think you're right about this. It matters what a president says. And if you notice, I am not mincing my words when I speak about what I plan on doing as president of the United States. The only thing I'm not doing is I'm not engaging in retribution. I am not deciding that the way to win is to go after hate with hate. We have to convince people. We have to move them. And one of the overwhelming reasons I won, by the way, is because we took on racism in suburbia. White women overwhelmingly voted with me, and black women were the 2 places where it was overwhelming, because we spoke to those concerns. And Vanita, you know what I'm talking about. You and I have talked before. I don't carry around a stamp on my head saying progressive and I'm AOC, but I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know of getting things accomplished. And that sounds so self-serving. I know that, but this is going to really be hard. This is going to really be hard. And let me conclude and turn it over to Kamala, who says, what the hell am I doing with this guy right now? But all kidding aside, I've known you my whole life, most of you. I've worked with you my whole life, most of you. I've been around doing this for a long, long time. I don't always get it right, but I always take responsibility. When I get it wrong, I acknowledge I got it wrong. But my overarching objective, if we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do, in terms of raw numbers.
All right, so hold on. Y'all heard that. Hold on, we're gonna have to bring that back just a little bit. I want to see if y'all heard that right. Hold on, let me see if we can bring that back. Just a little.
This country is going to be minority white European. Hear me?
Listen good.
Minority
Listen good.
white, and you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do, in terms of raw numbers. We're going to have to be working with a whole group of people that, in fact, are the single most diverse democracy in American history and anywhere in the world. And we got to figure out how to unify this country. And you've been the leaders of being able to do that. Not a joke. And so there's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to, Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during the debates, when you'd have some of the people you were supporting said, on day one, I'm going to executive order to do this. Not within the constitutional authority.
Yeah, that's the part that I wanted y'all to hear right there. I wanted y'all to hear right there. That man boldly got on and he said that we need to start working with Hispanics because, quote, they got more numbers than y'all do. They have more in their population than y'all do. And why is that? I talked about this during my series of the whole overturning of Roe versus Wade, because Hispanic people, historically or by demographic, are mostly Catholic. So Catholics do not support abortion at all. They abhor abortion. So you're not really going to find a lot of Hispanic people to get abortions because of their religious background. So therefore, they push it on black people. Now remember, Roe versus Wade was just overturned. Okay? And I want y'all to start putting these numbers together. Roe versus Wade was just overturned, and Joe Biden is trying to find a way to appeal that so it can be reinstituted. And who does abortion affect the most in this country? It affects black people. And now he's saying that black people need to lock arms with the Hispanics in order to get some stuff done because Hispanics outnumber black people. Why do black people have numbers that are lower than Hispanics? Because Hispanics don't really support abortion. But he supports abortion, which affects black people. So it's almost like he's rubbing it into black people's faces. Well, since y'all numbers are a lot lower than the Hispanics, well, now y'all need to look to them. We're not going to do anything to make sure all of these things that they have been promising, they're not going to do anything to make sure that the black community becomes more prosperous. Is now y'all got to look to somebody else. Totally disrespectful, but that's Uncle Joe Biden and Sister Girl Kamala Harris had to have him in office, but Trump is a racist. Can't make this stuff up.
Yeah. First off, that's the most energy I've seen that man have. Like, wow, he had some energy that night. He had them Red Bull Bereans in him, or he had them Berean Red Bulls with him or something. I don't know, because he had some vigor in his voice, man. But, you know, see, that goes, like, that's one thing I don't like, you know, is like this attitude. It's like they run on the the party that they run on the platform of we're progressive and we're getting away from racism and we're not racist. But it's like they talk down to us as if we can't think for ourselves, or like we're just a bunch of babies who needed coddled and we'll take care of you. You know, we just need your vote. That's how they come off. It's very condescending. And all through that, he was super condescending. You know what I mean? And it was actually that underlying attitude, like, come on, you know, you don't vote for me. You're not black. It's that same thing. And I'm often like puzzled, like how come people do not see this? Because you point those kinds of things out, and it's just like a concept that goes over their head because it's not outright blatant racism, or it's not outright blatantly like rude or something like that, you know. Whereas, and I'm not saying Trump was or wasn't racist, but he'll say something just straight up. He doesn't have no metaphor with it or no underlying nothing. He'll just say it and won't apologize. So, you know, but they'll point to him, like, look what he said. Oh, look what he said, man. But it's like, yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that was corny. You know, I mean, the man's like 80 years old talking like that, whatever, yo. But do you see overall how they talk to you is like, you know what? Voter registration, this is racist. Black people aren't having IDs, so why would you want them to register? You remember that whole thing about getting an ID to vote, and then they were saying this is racist. You know, a lot of black people don't have driver's license, and the Republicans know that. It's like, yo, that is the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, like, what, we don't know how to get up, go to the DMV, get us. I mean, this is ridiculous, and that's how they do it. That's how they talk to us and about us.
Yeah. Man, you gonna maybe pull some videos up today. Now, this is for people who said that they didn't hear the part where Joe Biden said that if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. So let me see if I can pull this up.
Looks like Joe Biden has stuck his foot all the way. Who?
Political life in the primaries this year. They have things they want from you, and one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Charlemagne had a follow-up question, but got interrupted by
Fair
someone
use.
off
Fair
camera saying
use.
their time was up. The radio host instead invited Biden to come back, but Joe's response was off-putting.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
The comment may have.
Could Donald Trump have said that? Could Donald Trump have said that and gotten away with it?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and you know, and that's why I'm just like, you know, if we're gonna talk about politics, you know, like we have to be, we have to be truthful. You know what I'm saying? And we got to be real. You know what I'm saying? We got to bring some of this stuff out. Let me see if I can pull up, because you brought up the whole voter ID thing, and that was a guy I was watching. Let me see if I can bring that video up. Oh, here we go. Hold on, no, that's about the police. I might have to play that one too. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Because this guy's talking to some black people about voter ID. I'm trying to see if I can pull this video up. Yeah, see, I ain't even have all of this queued up. Hold on. Let me see if I can go back up. This guy, Ami Horowitz. Oh, man, I'm trying to see. Because I know the thing about the police, he was, he did that one too. We might have to pull that video up. But yeah, he was talking about voter ID. And he was going out asking people, let me see.
Oh, I saw this video.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yep.
I can't find it. I don't know. Let's watch this one about the police. They were talking about abolishing the police and all of that. Actually, hold on. I wanted to see this one. I think I seen. Hold on. That's not it.
I'm Ami Horowitz. And as
Fair
we all
use.
know, Trump says a lot of stuff. In this case, he was talking about Baltimore. There seems to be a lot of people talking smack about Baltimore. So we're going to play America's favorite game, Who Said What?
Anything Trump says is going to be stupid, so I know if you tell me something stupid, it's going to be from Trump.
Yeah, I think they're very racist comments.
Donald Trump is a racist.
Would you agree with that?
100% yeah.
I'm going to give you quotes, and the quotes are either from President Trump, the mayor of Baltimore, who's a black woman, Mayor Pugh, or Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
Disgusting rat and rodent infested.
Oh, that's definitely Trump.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I knew
That is
that.
Trump. So you could smell the rats.
I'd have to guess Trump.
It's a good guess, but it was the Mayor Pugh of Baltimore. What the hell? We should take all this down.
That's got to be Trump.
Oh, it's Mayor Pugh. You would think we're in a third world country. This is a twofer. This is disparaging about third world.
Yeah, would
and the city of Baltimore.
Yeah, would Bernie say third world?
Possibly.
I don't think Bernie says third world anymore. I think he says majority world. Because I think that's what you're supposed to say now, right?
What the hell? We should take all this down.
That's Trump.
Trump all the way.
Trump all the way.
Trump all the way.
Oh, who's Mayor Pugh?
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Wow. I would say it's probably a trick question, so maybe the mayor, because the mayor probably went in and did a bunch of great stuff in the city.
Yeah, it's definitely not Trump. That one.
It could be, but I don't.
What the hell? We should take all this down.
Trump.
No.
It does sound like Trump.
It really sounds like him, but it could.
Because he thinks that a third world country is a bad thing. Bernie probably wouldn't be ridiculously against that.
That's so easy. Oh, come on. Don't give me free money. You gotta work for this.
Everybody's talking smack about Baltimore.
The mayor of Baltimore?
Yeah.
Correct! Correct!
Trump.
Mayor Pugh.
Mayor of Baltimore?
The black lady.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Correct!
Well, that's definitely Trump.
Correct!
Trump again.
Trump all the way.
Yeah?
Trump.
Trump all the way.
Trump it is!
Trump again?
Should we go with Donald Trump?
I'm going with Trump.
One more.
There's a problem there. There's no point in being disparaging about one person being critical when everyone's said the same criticism.
I wish I had studied for this quiz.
Man.
Yeah, and that's why I say, when it comes to politics, we really gotta know who we're voting for, who we're casting our ballots for, and we can't just broad brush one group of people and just say that this is what this group of people is about and this is what the other one is about. Definitely, we just got to be careful with that. But go ahead.
So I'm from Maryland. I'm from a spot called Hagerstown, Maryland, and it's about an hour outside of Baltimore. And let me tell you something, man. So when I worked for the Department of Juvenile Services back in the day for the state of Maryland, it's the correctional side for the juveniles, we would have to go down to Baltimore to this place called Juvenile Justice Center, which was a courthouse and a facility at the same time. We called it Baby Bookings. It's right in the heart of Baltimore. I got there, and I mean, growing up, I always, back and forth from Hagerstown to Baltimore and Frederick. But the trash was everywhere you look was trash. I get out of training, I look down the street, and it's me and this young lady. We getting ready to go across the street to get some lunch, and it's a rat in broad daylight. And I'm talking, it looked like a cat. That's how big it was. The tail long, just running down the street on the side, not on the sidewalk, but right under the curb, and just trotting along. Go into the bodega down there, the little corner store. Go in there, get me a little cheesesteak or something. You got people in there shooting dice. You got people people in there screaming. You got people. I was like, nah, I'm not eating here. Ain't not. Nope. Somebody about to get smoked up in this mug. This is all while I'm the correctional center and the prison, or the not the regional facility, is right there in town. As soon as you step foot off of there, it's trash, rats, people in the Matrix, walking up and down the street on dust, all kinds of stuff there. So the stuff that Trump said about Baltimore in specific, he was not wrong. I've been there millions of times. I'm from Maryland. I'm telling you, if anybody is from Baltimore or been around Maryland or anything like that, they will tell you it is disgusting. I mean, trash piled, houses boarded up. You ever seen The Wire? Wherever all the houses was boarded up and they was putting them dead bodies? Houses boarded up. People smoking crack, broad daylight. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I'm not joking. So yeah, he was spot on what he said. And then everybody was in an uproar that he said that. But then, they send the news people out there to talk to the residents of Baltimore. And they put the ones on who seem offended. Oh no, Baltimore's a good place to live. I don't know what Trump's talking about. It's just more racist rhetoric. No, it ain't. Because I'm telling you, if they would have interviewed me, I'd be like, nah, I'm trying to get up out of here now. Can I get a ride with y'all?
Yeah, I've heard those things about Baltimore. Like, I knew a lady who was a realtor, and I used to do some work with her here in Atlanta, and she went to Baltimore for about a year. And she was just like, she said, man, Baltimore's a totally different place. She was like, when you go to Walgreens, they only letting a certain amount of people in Walgreens when an armed security guy right there at the door with one of those big metal doors. She was just like, it's totally different. She said Baltimore is a totally different city, But again, if you bring that out, then certain people, if you're a certain person and you talk about that, then they consider you a racist if you're white. But if you're black and you talk about that, it just, that just rolls off. It just go through one ear and not the other. You know what I'm saying? It rolls off of them like water on the duck's back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But these are things that we have to talk about.
Yeah. It's and what's crazy, man? Like you said in the beginning of your broadcast here, all these spots, Philadelphia, because I live in Pennsylvania now. Philadelphia, some of of course we know about New York, but I mean all these democratically run cities are like that. Baltimore isn't special because I've been to millions of different places. You check who the governor is, who some of the local, it's all like that. I'm not just trying to place the blame all on them, but if we're going to talk about it, it's like, well, these are the leaders here. Why do your cities look like this? And it's not looking like this, but why is the crime so high? Why is all jobs? I mean, it goes on, and it's not just Baltimore. It's all around the country. St. Louis, certain spots in Detroit, I'm sure. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah, I think this is the video that I found where he was talking to people about voting rights. Once again, fair use. I know this video would get monetized, but fair use anyway.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the black vote.
Now, I want to preface this by saying, Berean TV, shout out to Berean TV. When he holds his panels and stuff, and we start to talk about things like this is one of the things that pop up. You have some people that get on Berean TV and they talk about the black vote being suppressed, and they're changing all of these voter laws, and they're making it harder for black people to vote. And, the Republicans make all of these crazy laws, and black people can't really vote. And they do that, so therefore blacks can't vote, and then whites will vote, and then that'll kind of sway the election in the way of the Republicans. So let's watch what this guy, Ami Horowitz, has to say. He's going to be asking black people and white people about the voter laws, and are they racist towards black people? So once again, fair use, fair use, fair use.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist and they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or
These
other places
type of
where they can get
people.
identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works. A lot of people have smartphones, they might not have data.
Wow.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem to ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? Do you carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't
Listen
carry
good.
No. Everyone
Listen
that I
good.
know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes. Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so we know what we need to carry around.
Everybody that I know have ID. That's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those are legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that. It's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Would you have a problem getting there if you had to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yes.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly, right?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data?
Mm-hmm.
You can access the
Unlimited.
Internet with unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process on.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I'm hearing a lot.
Ignorant.
Ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
Judging somebody, you judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are? Are you
Love
cool?
showing my ID.
You have no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, can we please just see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you have to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
Nah.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
What you think about that, Shafe? I think that guy's an agent. I think those black people are agents out there. You know what I'm saying? I think that Jewish guy, he just paid them to say that stuff, man. What you think?
And this is what I'm getting. Something.
Hey, you breaking up right now? Your mic was breaking up a little bit.
Okay, now I was saying. I got an echo, I think. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, okay. It just goes to show you what they actually think. You know, what people actually think about us. And I was really glad to see that video. You know what I mean? When I first saw it, it was some time ago when I first saw it. And it's just like, that to me is more racist. Or I don't know how to say it. Like, it's not more racist, but it's definitely racist in the way, like, you think that we can't do for ourselves. It's almost like we're just animals or little children or something like that. You know, I mean, it really bothers me. I could respect someone who said, you know, I don't like you just because I don't like you, you black, or I don't like your big lips or something like that. I don't like you. I don't like your kind. I would actually respect that than someone saying, oh, well, we know you can't do for you. We know your people don't have access to every modern day invention that everyone else has. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that bugs me, man. It really gets under my skin. So, I mean, that video was, it was a good video. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I liked it when I first saw it, man. I thought it really shed a lot of light on a lot of people's ignorance and stuff like that. And the thing is that you got a lot of these people who mean well, but this is what happens when a lot of people have fallen into the propaganda of news media and stuff like that. I know Brother Berean was talking about that earlier, of how you have some people that control the media. You know what I'm saying? Some of these billionaires, you don't think that if they give 20 or 30 million to some of these to some of these corporations to put out a certain narrative, that they won't do it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're trying to get a certain person elected. So I mean, it's just, it's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on out in the world, and politics is unfortunately wrapped in the middle and is used as a tool to push certain agendas. But we all know that the enemy that we fight is not of flesh and blood. We all know that our enemy is spiritual. It's Satan. In the end, this is all a satanic ploy. These are people who are being controlled by Satan. Whether they believe that there are or not, or whether the people believe, I won't say believe, just believe. But these are people, whether they admit it or not, like they have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? These are times that we're living in. And that's why us as Christians, even though when we go to the polls, we still have to be very aware of who we're voting for, whether it's a Democrat or Republican or whoever, and that's why a lot of times when people say, well, I didn't vote, I'm not just the first person to say, oh, you didn't vote, you just so unpatriotic, and, oh, well, since you didn't vote, you shouldn't have anything to say. I mean, there's been a couple times where I was just like, you know what, man, I ain't even going to the poll. I don't like this person, and I don't like that person. I'm just going to sit this one out. And I think that, me personally, I think that that's okay. I don't think that everyone has to have an obligation to go out and vote. I believe that, again, it goes to a person's conscience. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't believe that we should be rising up to fight against authority, because that's totally unbiblical. To fight against authority and to, say we're going to overthrow the government or whatever. The Bible says that God put those people in authority. You know what I'm saying? He put those people in authority. So we don't come against those folks just because we don't like their policies or whatnot. But at the same time, us as Christians, we have to follow what our Lord and Savior has commanded us to do, which is spread the gospel, continue to spread the gospel. And I think that around election time, that's when it's a good time for us to be able to go out and spread the gospel and talk to people, ask people their concerns, and, and then, at the end of the conversation, spread the gospel and let them know that all of this stuff is passing away. All of the stuff is perishing. This country, all of the countries, all of the monuments that you see, the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the pyramids, all of that stuff is not going to be here when Christ returns. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff is going to be destroyed, and he's going to establish his kingdom, for eternity, for once and for all, and it will never be destroyed by human hands. You know what I'm saying? So, but Shay, if you got anything else that you want to say, I'm getting ready to wrap this up, man. But yeah, basically, I just wanted to kind of put that out there that, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. You know what I'm saying? And I think that because we got I think this November, within a few months, 2 months actually, they got midterms coming up. So they're getting ready to, start. People are going to start throwing their hat into the race to start running for president. You know what I'm saying? So that's coming up in November. That's when the midterm elections are going to start coming up. And, we just got to make sure that we kind of stay on code, because I ain't going to lie. I kind of started getting pulled into that whole conservative versus, liberal or Democratic thing. And, it was like I had to stop, pump the brakes, really get back into the word of God, and start to not lean too far to the left or to the right. So, that's what we have to remember to do. Shafe, if there's anything last thing you want to say, man, you can go ahead and say it. And I'm going to get ready to get up out of here.
Yeah, man, I was actually getting ready to tell you, I'm about to hop on this Xbox. That's what I'm about to do. But it's been a great discussion, man. I enjoyed having it with you. And you
man, you can't.
You
said you about to get on the Xbox?
And you know that.
He got to get his mind right. He got to get a PS4.
Hey, well, actually, I had a PS4, but you know what? I gave it away to a friend of mine, but one of my retirement checks from the state is coming in this week, and I'm about to give me a PS5, so I'm excited about that. So now I Sony.
All right. But go ahead, bro.
But yeah, I definitely I enjoyed the discussion. I think you hit the nail on the head. Look, this is a very cliche saying. It's actually from a meme, but it couldn't be truer. Look, no matter who's president, Jesus is king. He will always be king. He always has been king, and there's nothing that will change that. And that's what matters. That's really what matters. And that's really all I got to say. I just want to tell people, look, do your research. Go ahead and blow the dust off your King James or whatever, and match up. Make sure that your values are matched up from them pages of that book to what these people are running on, and then you making an informed decision that way. And God bless. Thanks, Alton, for having me on. I love when you come on, man. Yeah, I'm about to get to this game. Have a good night, man.
Amen. All right, brother Shafe. Enjoy the rest of your night, man. Well, all right. Listen, y'all. I think we had a pretty fruitful discussion tonight. And excuse me, man, I'm about to get ready to eat me some dinner in a minute. But before we get ready to get up out of here, you guys know, man, that we have to shout out our members. You know what I'm saying? These are the people who help the channel. They continue to help the channel going, keep the channel going. I'm sorry. And we just want to make sure that we shouting them out. I want to let you guys know exactly who is supporting this channel with their monthly contributions. And if you guys want to become a member, you can just hit that join button at the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and let's read off all of the people who support this channel on a monthly basis. First off, we got German. Then we have Lyrically Outspoken, Terrence Jones, Roger Sherman. He was up in the chat. Ryan Robertson. Oh, Lyrically Outspoken was up in there too. Leader for Christ, Miss Ephesians 2:10, Dunamis Brockus, Joseph Roberts, Nicole Smith, Latrell Hassel, D Mav, Ambassador Everett, Anthony Hall, Daryl Lloyd, Montre Schurer. And Montre Schurer, that's the last person. So give it up for them. Give it up for them for becoming members to the channel. And thank you guys once again for showing up to this live stream. I'm going to get ready to get up out of here. And, and like I said, I just want you guys to, remember what we talked about. We do got some political stuff coming up. And you guys just really be aware of who you're voting for. And, continue to keep me lifted up in prayer, especially with this whole YouTube ministry and all of that stuff. I appreciate you guys' prayers more than anything else. But listen, get ready to get up out of here. If you guys haven't liked the video, go ahead and like this video right now. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Once this video is over, if you watch the replay, comment, hit that notification bell. I know Lily T said she was having a problem with that. I'm going to try to check that out. And you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Hit that like button, you guys.